Hello, and this is the third tutorial in the series where we are going to configure our virtual machine for dev work. So I prefer Chrome. If you like Firefox, you can continue with the Firefox, but I'm going to download Chrome first. And then, yeah, I'm going to accept. I'm going to save it to the default location. It is downloading it. And the most important one which I want to show you is that site, Anaconda. It's more like a data science development toolkit or a full suite, which include all the tools you need to work in the machine learning and data science area beside the databases. And it's more like the, I would say, the application layer, not the storage layer. Storage layer, obviously we need to, if we are using file system, then we need to convert the data into CSV or JSON files. Or if we are using databases, then it means we need to use some sort of database on the same machine or some other server which we have a connection on. So we'll see once we come to the storage part. Now I'm going to do, so we believe the, let's go and download. It's pretty straightforward. As soon as you click you put the URL and you go on the website, you can go to the products, or you can click on the download link which is already available. So I'm going to click on the download. So you can see we have three options. Obviously, I'm on Linux, so I'm going to use the Linux machine, and I'm going to download the full installer, which is 544 MB, because that includes everything. And one thing you can see, you have the Python 3.8 by default, which is available. Just keep in mind, if you are working with other Python version like 3.5, 3.6, 3.7, or even 2, we have an option that we can configure them, but I will come to that part later. Let's first go and download it. So we will start installing it. So hit, and I'm going to save it. That's gonna take some time. And in order for me to complete it, I'm going to pause this video and then come back as soon as the download finish. Okay. So now the Anaconda distribution has been downloaded. You can see it. I downloaded it in the default folder, which is download folder of my Linux machine. Just to show you, it's there. And normally we need to allocate write permission or execute permission if you want to manipulate the downloaded file due to security on Linux. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type a command chmod, which gives the execution permission on Anaconda, and that's it. Plus X is the for execution. And now I can run it by just typing dot slash and the file name. You don't need to type the full file name. As soon as you type some character and press tab, it will bring the full name. So now we are almost ready. So let's hit enter. Yeah, I'm going to continue. I'm going to quickly look at the agreement. And most of the time we just ignore it. If you want, you can go and you can read it in your spare time. But all I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave it at this stage. Keep pressing till you see yes and no option. Yeah. So we're gonna do yes. Yeah, Anaconda will be installed to this location. I'm comfortable with that. If you want, you can change it. So if you want that it shouldn't install in your home local user directory, if you want to set up it as a independent from the user profile, you can set up I would say at the root level. But it's a dev machine and we only have one user, so I'm not gonna bother it. I'm gonna enter to confirm the location. Now it's gonna start installing the Anaconda on my machine. just to watch the performance, I can open another window and I can run top. That will show me all the processes which are running. So most of the time the installation is unattended, like it doesn't need any additional information from you as soon as the installation has been started. So I let it complete and I'll continue once the installation, or at least the initial installation process has completed, because there's nothing fancy in it. Okay, now at this stage, it is asking me that Conda init, and Conda is more like the package manager within Anaconda, and we're gonna see that a lot of packages we can install through Conda, which handle all the packages. But that's the detail, and I'm gonna keep the default option, and we are done. So that means now I have the Anaconda installed on my machines. Just to show you where we are. So if I go back to my home directory, we should have Anaconda folder 3, and then you can see it has all the default directory structure. We have bin and we have everything that is required to run Anaconda distribution on your machine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to Anaconda. Okay, and that's a very common error which you're gonna encounter. And the reason is that Linux is still unable to identify the path of this executable on this machine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna export path. Export is more like setting up the environment variable within Linux. So it's very similar to how we set up the environment variable in Windows and Mac using the graphical interface. But like I mentioned, that most of the settings we can do through terminal, and that's more powerful, because we're gonna see a full course on Bash and PowerShell, because they help you to be very strong while managing these machines, not only from the dev perspective but also from the operational perspective. So path, and then we're gonna specify where the path is. So tilde wherever we are, and then we are going to, and you can see that it automatically picked the path. I just type couple of characters, so that means I'm going right. And at the end, we're gonna specify that we are concatenating to the existing variable, like we are not overwriting the variable, because the path already have the default or allocated path to other tools on this machine. So it's not like we are wiping out everything and we're just setting up the Anaconda path. So just keep in mind that that at the end, the colon and dollar sign path is appending the value into existing variable. So we hit enter. So path has been set, and if we want to see it, we can echo the path, and you can see the all the files which all the software which has been installed on this machine. You can see their contribution to the path variable. Hopefully that's clear. Now we are going back. You can bring the old command. You don't need to type every time. Just do up arrow and it will show you the history one up. And hopefully we're gonna see Anaconda Navigator, which is our, I would say, main interface to run all kind of Python or tools which are available. So now you can see I have, let me put it on the full screen. And I'm going to now. So you can see we have all these default tools which are available. One great thing with Anaconda, it keep enhancing its tool stack. Like you're gonna see all these new tools which are available as a part of the Anaconda. You don't need to worry about going to their website and finding out. As soon as the update comes in, or you install it on your machine, you're going to see all these tools, and you can see now some of the really popular tools are R Studio, which is working with R, PyCharm. They have, I think, community edition with Anaconda, and it's more like their advertisement, because obviously PyCharm, it's not a free tool, you have to purchase it, but it's I think from the dev perspective, or I would say a community edition, that is available as a part of Navigator. And then we have data analysis tool that we can use it. IBM also has given, I think, their own Cloud Studio as a community edition to Anaconda. Just keep in mind, these are all cloud. You cannot use it for professional purposes, especially we need to check the terms and condition. Yes, but we can use Jupyter, and we can use Jupyter Lab, and the most popular is Jupyter. People are heavily using Jupyter for any kind of machine learning work, right? So that's the default environment. So you can see base, which is always referring to the default environment. Now, most of the time, and if I come in here, I can see the existing environment, and in the default environment, it shows you all the default Python version or R version that it has been configured for you. But most of the time, most of the time we need a customized environment, which is according to our customized requirement. So what you can do. For some, I need to reduce the size of my screen to just show you clear, nice way, so you can see all the options. I can't. There are some buttons in here which allow you to create or to remove the environment. So I'm just going to, so you can see that plus sign that will allow you to create a new environment. So I'm going to do, and that is really helping once you're working in multiple projects, and every project has a different demand. So sometimes you need to work with one particular Python version with one project, and then there is another one in the pipeline that you need to work with a different one, so that these environments really help you to manage the work in a nice and clean way. So I'm gonna hit on create. The very first thing I'm gonna show it to you about the Python way. The default is now available 3.8. That means Anaconda is not supporting any version which is older than 3.8. Then we have R as well, which is really a great thing. Like now we are able to write the R code in the Jupyter notebook. If you would like to use R, you can select this option, and then what we can do, we can give it a name. So for example, I'm going to give it a name, machine learning, and let me keep everything in small. 3.8, which tells me that it has the Python 3.8 version. And by the way, we only have one. But moving on, if we want to set up some additional work, like we can even set up an environment by project, because then all I need to just open the environment, and everything from the setting perspective will load automatically. Pretty nice and cool feature of Anaconda. I'm going to hit create. It's going to create a new environment for me. We'll let it finish. It's going to take a while to finish the environment setup. While it is doing it, let me show you in the backend. As soon as I ran the Anaconda Navigator, you can see it it is in the background showing a lot of log files, not in here, but normally once you spin up the Anaconda Navigator, you can see a lot of information about the operations or the work which we are doing. So it's I think for environment setup it's not going to show, but as soon as we move towards the Jupyter or any other application, you're gonna see all the logs in here. And sometimes it's really useful if we see any ambiguity or anomaly from the front end perspective, so we can go back to the terminal and we can read out the messages which tell us, or at least give us some hint that where we need to start the investigation. So just keep in mind as a tip. You can also sign in using that button if you have a profile on Anaconda, because Anaconda is not only providing all these information, all these, I would say, tools free of cost, but they also have a paid version where you have a full cloud-based setup that you can use to host your machine learning work and for your organization. And obviously it's secure, it's not public, it's private, and there's a contract, and Anaconda provide full support for it, right? And that's more like a competitor for AWS, Google, and all others, Microsoft, who are providing machine learning capabilities as well in the same market, right? So just from the information perspective, while we are waiting for it to be configured. So as you know, I'm not gonna waste time. I'm gonna stop the recording and I'll come back as soon as this environment is up and running. Okay, so now we can see the environment has been set it up, and I can see the new environment, and you can see normally the you can only activate one environment at the moment. So and the indicator the environment is active is that green sign, green play sign, and you can click on it and it will show you all the option. It has terminal, Python, Jupyter Notebook, IPython. Normally we use terminal once we need to install additional packages, and we're gonna use it a lot because as soon as we move forward, we're gonna install, because this is a completely clean environment. Nothing has been installed, so we're gonna set it up from the scratch. And I believe you can follow along. Just before I close this video, in order to show you one final thing, we're going to spin up the Jupyter Notebook. And now you can see I have Jupyter Notebook up and running. I can create a folder in here, and you can see I can set up Python and R workspaces, or I can create these files and the functionality will be available by default. So let me create a folder, and that's really weird thing in the Jupyter Notebook, like it doesn't ask for name, you have to rename. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to call Python workspace, and there we go. And let's do our first Python work. I'm excited, so we're gonna print Python 3, I believe it's port. Welcome to Python. There we go. And as soon as you execute, we'll see Jupyter in the upcoming videos, how we can use the Jupyter to run the Python or R code. Pretty interactive tool, and I think we're gonna use it a lot while we learn the machine learning or even Python as a language from the dev perspective. So don't worry if you don't understand at the moment the interface. That's pretty much it from the configuration perspective. There's only one tool that I would like to install, which is Visual Studio Code. Pretty powerful, I would say, IDE from from Microsoft, and it is now quite popular based on the option it has given to the devs in terms of working with different technology stacks. So we will see in one of the video once we reach to the visual code development point. But for this video, we are almost done. If you have any question, you can put it in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer. As usual, if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.